welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, March 15th. I'm Kiki Thaxter.
And I'm Brian Boudreau. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood.
This week on Norwood News, the Senior Center has a special trip planned ahead. We hear about some summer job opportunities at the rec department. But first, last Friday, an anonymous text was sent out warning students at the Coakley Middle School of a mass shooting, which later was sent to the high school as well. Chief Brooks explains what was written in the text and how Norwood Police handled the situation.
Hi, Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood Police Department. I want to talk a little bit about the threat that occurred Friday focused on Coakley Middle School. So we received a call early in the morning around 7:30 or so from someone who had seen this threat on a phone. It wasn't their phone, but they had seen it, and they brought it to our attention. It was actually a group text, and it had been sent around 11:30 at night. So our officers responded, took a look at the threat, and began to interview the people who were listed in that group text. And essentially it threatened that there would be a mass shooting at Coakley Middle School. But when we read it, right off, there was some real oddities within the message. First of all, this just doesn't tend to happen, that somebody says, well, I'm going to go shoot up a school, and then they do it. There can sometimes be leakage, and we encourage people to contact us if there's a suspicious communication from somebody. But an overt threat that, hey, the shooting is coming, and then it happens, that would be unusual. And there were other oddities within the message. It talked about the person having an army that would assist them in the shooting and that sort of thing. So the officers Kelly and Riggle, were conducting their investigation, like I said, going house to house. At the same time, the detectives became involved, and Detective Green and Officer Ryan Sinclair, who's assigned to the detective squad right now, began looking at it from the standpoint of the phone number. And the threat said that the phone number was going to be untraceable. And indeed, the person who sent the threat had taken measures to block us from determining the source of that number. However, and I don't want to get into all the details, but Detective Green and Officer Sinclair were actually able to dig into the number sufficiently to figure out who they were dealing with. And they determined that they were likely dealing with a juvenile who went to the Coakley Middle School, who was traveling out of state at the time. In fact, they talked to this juvenile by phone briefly. Now, the communication that was coming out from the town was really coming out from the Coakley Middle School to the Coakley families. And we were relying on that mode of communication. And they sent 2 different alerts out to families. And I know that a lot of parents actually went to the school and picked up their kids, and kids made their way home in different ways. And the school managed that as best they can, but they really had quite an onslaught of families trying to pick up kids. In the meantime, their messaging contained information from us that we knew that this threat was not credible. We then sent a message in the early afternoon from us repeating that, saying that we knew that the threat was not credible and we were working on it, but we were just not able to give out further details at the time. So it was important that we preserve the integrity of the investigation, not just so that we get a prosecution in court, but so that our questions are answered. We knew that this family would be returning to Norwood and that they would arrive by Sunday sometime. And our detectives worked this investigation from the time the threat was received, Friday morning, right through the weekend, right through Saturday. They prepared applications and affidavits in support of a search warrant for the juvenile's home. And what they were looking for was the phone used so that they could perform an extraction on the phone, and also to search for any firearms. Again, we thought that the threat was not credible, but we also wanted to search and ensure there were no firearms accessible to the juvenile. Sunday morning, they arrived at the juvenile's home, met with the family, explained what was happening, conducted their search for the phone, for firearms, questioned the juvenile, and the juvenile then, in the presence of family, admitted that they are the ones who had sent the threat, and it was clear that they had no motive nor means to carry out any kind of attack as described in the text. And When the search was completed, the detectives placed the juvenile under arrest, which in the case of a juvenile really is all about bringing them to the station, getting their information, fingerprints and photographs, and then releasing them back to the parents. So they're really only at the police station maybe an hour or so. And in fact, the way they executed the arrest was to have the juvenile and a family member get in an unmarked car, drive to the station with the detectives, conduct this processing that I just described, and then release the juvenile back to the parents. The juvenile was, of course, not going to be in school Monday, and we had extra officers at the middle school, and that's for the week. We've had extra officers at the high school for the week, and we've had officers at the drop-off at the elementary schools all week as well. Quite frankly, that's something we do anyway. We can't hit every school every day, but most schools have a patrol officer from the midnight shift at the school during drop-off, just to see families, to see kids, make sure that everything is okay as the kids are making their way in, and that went for that was to happen all week, and will happen all week. So the message here is that number one, the schools are safe, continue to be safe. The safest place for a kid to be during the day in Massachusetts is inside a school. In Norwood, the schools do a great job of locking down their buildings during the school day. You can only get in through the front door, and that's only if they know you. And so we do have coverage at drop-off and very often during pickup in the afternoon. We work very, very closely with the schools. We enjoy a productive, positive working relationship with them, and we're in constant communication when something like this happens. This was a difficult matter, particularly on the school side, but in the end, I think it was successfully handled. All of our questions are answered, and I think everything is back to normal. If people have questions about this, they can feel free to email me. I know the superintendent has the same policy. You can ask us questions. We'll respond right away, and we'll answer your questions for you.
Thanks, Chief. The Senior Center is planning an incredible trip for the fall of 2024. Nancy Kelleher and Dee Carney have all the details.
Top of the morning to you.
And the rest of the day to you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Kelleher, here with Dee Carney. We are from the Norwood Senior Center, here to promote our trip going to Ireland. The trip will be on October 23rd through November 1st. If you'd please reach me at 781-762-1201, extension 4, to sign up. Slots are going quick. Take it away, Dee.
So, join us for a pint of the black stuff in Dublin's fair city and travel on to medieval Kilkenny. Let's visit Waterford, the Crystal Museum, and ramble the harbour, the locks and the streams. Then on to Killarney Castle and the Ring of Kerry, and arrive at the majesty of the cliffs of Moher. A new day brings us to Limerick the Lady, and we'll see the sunset in Galway City. Lay your head down in King's Court, Kilbeggan, and toast your last evening in Cabra Castle. Slán go fóill.
Toodaloo, see you soon.
When Norwood News returns, Assistant Recreation Superintendent Sam White shares some summer job opportunities. We have some information on the April 1st town election, and we take another look at NCM's latest Living Local.
Norwood Community Media takes pride in its live sports coverage. Using cutting-edge technology, NCM is able to deliver a first-class professional live broadcast to the viewer at home. A seamless production requires several steps of pre-production and setup. Camera equipment and tripods are loaded up from the equipment room and moved to the gym walking track. As the cameras are mounted to tripods, an NCM employee is getting the announcer, microphone headsets, and video monitor ready for broadcast. All of the NCM camera and audio equipment, as well as production communication, is transmitted to the control room via IP-based technology, minimizing setup time and controlling signal flow. A critical part of the NCM sports broadcast is real-time scoreboard data. Live game graphics are created during pre-production and include the teams, scores, and score clock. A cable is run from the scoreboard controller to a jack in the gym that connects directly to the NCM control room. Once there, live graphics software pulls the information and updates the digital score graphics instantly. When NCM upgraded their broadcast switcher, a multi-camera replay system was added. A replay operator has access to all cameras of the live production and has the ability to recall key highlights of the game almost instantly. The highlights are then compiled into a playlist and saved for future reference and projects. Confidence monitors in the control room monitor the cable feeds and live stream during the broadcast. Post-game, NCM is ready with a wireless microphone headset allowing NCM commentary to conduct a short interview with a player or coach. When the live broadcast is over, the work is not done. All equipment must be broken down and stored away until the next event. If there is a post-game interview, it's clipped and added to social media and the NCM bulletin board. While live sports is only one piece of NCM's broadcast coverage, you can see the hard work and dedication that it takes to pull off this kind of production. Available only on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
The Recreation Department is always looking for help over the summer. Assistant Director of Recreation Sam White tells us exactly what the department needs to have the best summer possible.
Hey Norwood, Sam White here coming at you from the Norwood Recreation Department. Just wanted to hop on to inform everyone that we are still accepting applications for numerous jobs this summer, including pool tag checkers, lifeguards, pool maintenance, camp counselors, and site supervisors. We have applications here at the Civic Center or online on the Recreation website, and we're hoping to get all the applications we can and looking forward to working with you this summer.
The April 1st town election is coming up fast. NCM produced the following video to give Norwood residents all the information on who the candidates are and what they're running for.
Attention Norwood residents, don't forget to vote in the annual town election on Monday, April 1st. 7 of the 8 major races are all uncontested. Bill Plasko is seeking another 3-year term as a member of the Board of Selectmen. Jerry Slater is running again for another 1-year seat as the town's moderator. Kathleen Bishop is running for another 3-year seat on the Board of Health. David Hiltz is seeking another term as a member of the school committee. Mayev Bodenhofer and Eric Fleming are both running for the 2 open seats on the Finance Commission. Sarah Begg and George Mahalik are both seeking re-election for the Mora Memorial Library's Board of Trustees. And Joseph Sheehan is running for a 5-year seat on the Planning Board. The only contested race is for a 5-year seat on the Norwood Housing Authority. This race is between Bill Breen and Judy Langone. And here are the members of the community running to be town meeting members from all 9 districts. Don't forget to make sure your voice is heard and cast your vote in the upcoming town election on Monday, April 1st.
Now let's toss it over to Bridget Kidd for the latest in school news.
I'm Bridget Kidd, and let's take a look at what's happening in our Norwood schools. In Norwood High School news, the students of the month are Julia Alves and Jonah Michalek. Students of the month are seniors who are nominated by staff and are positive role models for our other students. Congratulations! It was World Language Night, and the dining hall was full of special activities. Let's take a look. This week at the Balch, librarian Christine Duffy organized and welcomed 16 guests to read to the Balch students. During the month of March, reading is celebrated with the Read Across America initiative. They welcome administrators and Norwood community workers to read aloud a picture book to all 16 classes, grades 1 through 5. Some of their guests included Superintendent Dr. Thompson and Assistant Superintendent Mr. Munez, Technology Director Joe Kidd, and many others. They also had guests from Norwood Police Force, firefighters, and our public youth librarian. Christine Duffy and everyone at the Balch would like to thank all those who took their time this March to share the importance of reading with the students. At the Callahan School, grade 5 students led yet another successful assembly. This month's topic was honesty. Dr. Munez read The Magical Yet to students to celebrate Read Across America Week. 4th and 5th grade students at the Cleveland selected the graphic novel Hoops by Matt Tavares for its 2024 Cleveland School Readers Award. The book's Front Desk and Houdini and Me tied for second. Students who voted in the annual Books and Beyond Literacy program read at least 4 titles and shared nearly 300 Padlet posts, including selfies, gifs, and their thinking. The Prescott held its monthly Character Strong assembly to highlight the character trait of perseverance for February. There were 13 students nominated for the Student of the Month. These students showcased hard work and dedication to academics, even when it's difficult for them. The winners were, from grade 1, Zachariah, Cece, Riva, and Delilah. From grade 2, Brooklyn, Robin, and Andrea. From grade 3, Nell, Michaela M., and Arion. For grade 4, Nathan and Avery. And from grade 5, Brian. Congratulations to all of these students who show grit and determination through challenging tasks. Also during the assembly, the school learned about the character trait for March, honesty. Students sang along to the honesty song and learned that someone who is honest tells the truth, even when it is difficult to do so. Stay tuned next month to see who the students of the month are for honesty. The kindergarten students at the Willett Early Childhood Center had 2 very special guests this week. School Resource Officer Jeffrey Baguma and everyone's favorite sidekick, Mustang Sally, came to read May Among the Stars by Stasha Burrington. This is the true story of Dr. Mae Jemison, the first female African-American astronaut. The visit was a perfect way for the students to celebrate Black History Month and Women's History Month while also adding a book to their journey. During the month of March, kindergarten students and the Willett community are working towards reading across America. During the first week, they celebrated with delicious apples for reaching the Big Apple, New York City, and hope to make it to Chicago by the end of the week. Stay tuned to see how far they go. Students at the Little Mustang Preschool kicked off the month of March with a fun and interactive performance by local musician Sarah Gardner. Children danced, sang, and played musical instruments to favorite songs such as the ABC song, Mr. Sun, Ladybug Picnic, and C is for Cookie. Miss Sarah plays guitar and comes with ukuleles, guitars, xylophones, and a variety of homemade drums so the kids can play along with her. Preschoolers and their teachers look forward to their visit from Miss Sarah each year. Many thanks to our awesome PTO for making this happen for the students of LMPA. That's it for the school news this week. We appreciate all the teachers who take the time to help share their news with us. It helps provide us with an inside look at what is happening in our classrooms. Now let's send it over to Ron Marshalsea with the latest in sports.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and this is your Sports Update. The number 9 girls basketball team went up against the number 1 seeded Medfield Warriors when they traveled there last Friday night. This game was the round of 8 in the D2 MIAA tournament, and despite the Mustangs keeping it close, they didn't keep it close enough for the Warriors to lose momentum. Norwood kept it within 4 heading into the half, but they couldn't seal the deal and ended up losing to a strong Warrior team 57-44. Congratulations to this team and Coach McDonald on a fantastic season, and good luck to the 3 graduating seniors, Lauren Reen, Alexa Corus, and Trisha Wachowski. And with that, the winter season has come to an end. And that is all I have for this Sports Update. I'm Ron Marshalsea. And Norwood News will be right back after this break.
Tune in this month for a special edition of Norwood Digest. Jack McCarthy sits down with legendary Chief Brooks, who talks about his retirement after 48 years in law enforcement. This is one episode you don't want to miss. Tuesday night, the Board of Selectmen met with the Finance Commission to review the proposed $40 million fiscal year 25 town government budget. Following that, the board moved to their chambers and met with Chris Follin and Paul Riccardi from the Townwide Facilities Department to be updated on recent projects. Kevin Shaughnessy and his team from Norwood Light Department presented their plan to run fiber throughout the entire town and the plan to exit the cable business in 3 to 5 years.
Walking around the building today, a lot of people really pumped up. They're hoping for a go forward. They really want to get this going, and I think we're going to be very successful with this. I really do. They've been waiting now for quite a while to get going on this. Mm-hmm. No one wanted to really upgrade the existing, hybrid fiber coax system. Not that we couldn't do, we could. It's just we want to set ourselves up for another 20 years. And this is, we set this system up. I'll go back to some of you remember Malcolm McDonald, who was the superintendent, maybe 10 years ago. He passed away. But Malcolm, when he planned out the system, he built it so that we could do this. So we learned from Braintree Light kind of what, I don't want to say what not to do, but we went the next step, and we built fiber deep into the neighborhoods so that we could do what we want to do now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's also money being carried for the full 20 years for franchise fees. Now, once we get out of cable TV in the next, say, 3 years or so, you wouldn't be obligated to pay those. However, we carried them knowing that there was at least in my impression, there was the board wanted us to do that. In other words, and it would be discretionary. You wouldn't have to do that, but as you know, Norwood Community Media is a big part of our town, and we don't support them. That probably means at some point Comcast and Verizon could also be getting out of the traditional cable TV business. So there's another, if you multiply that over 20, it's a couple hundred thousand, another $4 million.
And you've been pushing the direct TV stuff and things like that.
We've been doing that, yes. There's a few other things that could save us some money. So I'm confident that the risk is minimal. The person that we use, Tom Asp, is fairly conservative. You saw it. He said we could sell the business, we could continue on the way we are. But this was the best option, and I'm very confident that we're gonna kill it.
On the most recent episode of Living Local, we strummed our way into Bay State vintage guitars right on Washington Street.
Located on Washington Street, just a block up from the Norwood Town Common, is a new business that specializes in buying, selling, repairing, and restoring used guitars and amplifiers.
Bay State Vintage Guitars was founded in 1982 by my father, Craig Jones, and for the better part of 40 years was located at 295 Huntington Avenue in Boston. And about 4 years ago, we moved here after our building was sold that we had been renting in. And Norwood has been a great home for us.
Aaron Jones is a big fan of the move from Boston to Norwood, and he is happy with his new home.
Norwood is a great place for a small business. It's easy to get to, it's affordable, and there's plenty of resources here for people who own small businesses, like the Friends of Norwood Center, for example. And you know, we found our new home here, and it's great.
When you enter the shop, you are surrounded by guitars of all ages. Gibson Les Pauls, Fender Stratocasters, Martin Acoustics, and even a lap steel guitar. It is a Guitar Hall of Fame right here in Norwood.
So when you come into our store, one of the first things you'll notice is the guitar wall. And we try to keep a very wide assortment of instruments on display. Everything from vintage Martins to new custom builds based on vintage guitars to newer instruments. We really get into a little bit of everything. Our specialty is vintage and collectible pieces, but we do a little bit of everything. Our customers range from beginning guitarists all the way up to touring professional musicians, and we provide sales and service on instruments and amplifiers.
With over 40 years of experience, Bay State Vintage Guitars can make modifications and repairs of all kinds. There isn't much they haven't done before.
So here at Bay State Vintage Guitars, when someone brings us an instrument, the process starts with an evaluation. By examining the instrument, we're able to tell exactly what it might need to be brought back to its full potential, whether that be a simple setup or a more comprehensive restoration. Working on instruments, bringing them back to their full potential, particularly doing full restorations on older instruments, is really satisfying work. To see something that has been perhaps neglected for decades come back to life and be at its full potential, it's very rewarding. A lot of people can be very attached to their instruments. It's a very personal thing. It's what they use to make their art. So when someone brings their instrument to us for some sort of service and they entrust it to us, we try to treat it as if it's our very own, you know? We try to give them the best service we possibly can.
Boston has always been known for its music schools and its strong music scene. Many famous musicians have stopped by Bay State Vintage Guitars for maintenance and repairs.
Over the years, my father and I have worked with numerous well-known musicians, everyone from Aerosmith to Paul Simon, Keith Urban, Joe Bonamassa, all manner of professional musicians. It's nice to be able to be a part of what those great artists are doing.
Bay State Vintage Guitar has been the area's leading vintage specialist for over 40 years. Stop by and see what they have to offer.
We try to have a little something for everyone. If you're a beginning guitarist, we should have something to suit your needs. If you're a collector, we have all kinds of, you know, of interesting pieces. And if you're a pro, we can take care of all your service needs, basically whatever you need as a professional musician. Or if you just need some solid advice on what you should do with your instrument or amplifier, come on by anytime.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're going to leave you with a list of upcoming events being covered by Norwood Community Media. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.
Take care, everybody.